Is that better? Is my mic working now? So that should be a little bit. Mic should be working now, hopefully. So all right. Anyway, I'm just going to keep chatting away so people think I'm crazy. All right, awesome. That's good. I'll just add some filters here to bloody up my sound a bit so I'm not so silent. Let's have a look here. What have I got? Yeah. So that should have boosted my mic quite a bit. Hopefully it's not deafening you. I'm using OBS. What's it called? I can't remember. Streamlabs. Oh, there's written on the title bar. Streamlabs OBS. I'm on my Windows machine, unfortunately, so everything's all backwards for me. Yeah, there we go. Alright, excellent, it's fine. We can get on with it. Yeah, so what we're doing here, so we've got a loop. It's going to keep looping through the password until it meets its requirements. So let's actually test that. Alright, enter your password. Now what were we supposed to do? PW123 is supposed to request the password again. Yes, and password 123, request the password again, excellent, and then we just do password. Password week contains only letters. Now, we have to, up the top here, wherever it is, says here, to output the password length and a message indicating the password is weak or strong. So we're supposed to have password length here as a variable. That means right here after password, we have to add a variable equals len password. Alright, so I think we've keeping on that track. Okay, so we've done our checks. An input of up to 6 will be accurate, but the message will produce stating the password is weak, contains only numbers. Okay, will be accepted, stating the password is weak, contains only letters. Will be accepted, the message will produce stating the password is strong. Alright. Now up here, once validated, the program will output the length of the password and determine if the password is weak or strong as determined previously. Alright, so let's have a look at that. Alright, so we're going to use format and we're going to have password length as the format, and I don't know what they're asking. They're asking you once valid the program will output the length of the password and determine if the password is weak or strong, but down here will be accepted. Bit of a contradiction happening here, so they're not actually. Alright, let's do this anyway. So we're using string format here at the moment. So what this will do, we'll take whatever we're using from the format of the string, and it should put whatever we want within these brackets. We can specify what it is using the percent symbol, but empty bracket for 1 will be alright. Alright, length 8, password weak, contains only letters. I think that's what they're asking me to do, I'm not too sure. Data type, what do you mean? Whereabouts? It'll be a int if you mean the password length. So we can specify that by using %d if we want, but there's no real point. Now password 12 should say strong, and it's a length of 10, so we're right on the maximum there. That's what they were asking me to do there. See, I overcomplicated my first assignment. I went a bit above and beyond, which was yeah, which I got rejected and had to resubmit. So cause I didn't follow what they were doing to the letter. I sort of took, alright, so what they want to do is this and what they want to do is that, and I just sort of went a little overboard with it, and I just kept getting all these real good ideas, and I thought, oh wow, you know, what if we do this and what if we do that, and yeah. Here, see, I don't know about this Because it wants me to, up here it's telling me to input the length into a string. Well, Python's a really good language. It's a fantastic language to learn by, you know, like you start off with Python and then you can grow into other stuff because it sort of lays the foundation for you to understand what's going on. I dabble in Perl a little bit as well. Perl's not bad. It's pretty good. But Python for application stuff I find it's a lot better. But Perl for yeah, I overthink a lot of shit actually. But Perl for like string for formatting and stuff like that. Like when you use a regex and that in Perl, it's just so much more simplified. Whereas Python, you have to use the import the re bloody library and use that, and it's just I didn't really go much on that, to be honest. Having to use regex, use the re for regex stuff because I was so used to doing it with Python, with Perl. Yeah. So I've got to remove all these. I was using Visual Studio Code for my building my applications, which I also found that reading the documentation for it, that you have to use what they provide, PyCharmed. So we have to take screenshots. Oh, I've got to open a tool for that, don't I? Windows. So you got to screenshot everything. Yeah. I can cut that out and just have that so it's a bit easier for him to read. I think that's all I have to do. I'm not too sure. So you create a Word document containing screenshots of the running of your program with the test data suggested above. Right, so we have to input password 123, password PW 123, password 123, password 12. Oh, I didn't do that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now that should tell me that it's containing only. Right now, the libraries I'm using are none. I'm just using straight up Python. Yeah, I'm not using anything. That's my pseudocode that we have to do. I never knew about this because I taught myself Python, so I never knew about the whole pseudocode thing. But apparently, it's one of the things that you have to do when you're working in teams to basically say what your entire application is doing. So here I've got the program, and then we've got our constants at the top. Oh yeah, I've got to add. So I haven't quite finished it. So loop while true, and that will be inside this, like so. And then we're going to say if password length greater than const, I think that's right. So if password length is more than min and less than max. I hope I'm done that right. Yeah, see that's the thing. Uh, I added a before in my first one with the passwords. I added a like a dictionary type thing. I know it's hard to explain, but I made it loop through and check. So if it contained no symbols and that kind of stuff, and if it contained no uppercase letters, it was considered weak. Yeah, so I have to stick with the parameters of their specifications. So I'm not allowed to go outside the scope. I got an email from my lecturer telling me that I've overcomplicated a simple application. And he failed me on it and I had to resubmit. So yeah, I'm sticking with their range now. So we've got our loop and we've got our check there. Then we've got the output. Then we've got the input and all the rest of it. Alright, so that should be good enough. I hope anyway. So that's what I've done. So loop until password is accepted and break found. Yeah, that'll be good enough. Add password into password length variable. There we go, that should be good enough. Yeah, well, that's the best way to start. Start off with the simple projects and then work it up from there. I found, the search engines are like your best friend when it comes to stuff like this. See, I do a lot of, I start an application, I get an idea and think, all right, I'm going to make an application do this. And then you just start the application. Then when you run into a problem, hit the search engine, find a solution, see it, and sort of read through it until you understand it, and then sort of try and rewrite it in your own words. Lately, I've been pretty slack and just sort of copy and pasted some shit straight away, and then I've gone back after and then sort of tweaked it a little bit to my own liking and to my own needs and stuff like that. So alright, so we have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Password weak and contains only numbers. Alright, so we've done that. Better screenshot that. So that'll be capture 1. So what else we got to do here? So PW123 should loop. And password 123 should loop. So I reckon I might try and do both of them in one screenshot. See if I can do it. Where am I? What am I doing? Here we are. We're going to run the code again. PW123. Alright, so I'll get a screenshot of that. And then just password. What have I got screenshots of so far? Come on, load. What do you got? I have the books called Creative Coding in Python and Practical Python Projects. I had a Python book, but I never really read it. I started off reading it because I was doing a course beforehand, but ended up dropping out of it because I didn't realise what a bachelor's degree was. I just thought it was like a single guy doing courses. Pretty stupid, but still, yeah, naivete. Alright, very good. So now I need to do password week. Got them, got them. Got password 1, 2. I don't think I've done the number one yet. Oh yeah, got the number one. So what have I got? Password strong, number one, the loops, and just password. Alright, awesome. Now we've got to do these. So I think that's pretty much all I had to do with this one. Fuck, I hope he passes this. I'll be spewing if he doesn't. Dulled it right down. I think he might tell me I'm overcomplicating it with this check. I think, wonder how you want me to do it. Nothing in here that says. Aha. Within your code, include a comment to explain how you validate the password length. Okay. That I didn't do. Lucky I went back and read it. So, So if password length is greater than the minimum const and less than the maximum const, it is approved. So hopefully that's enough. Project-based learning is the best, actually. I'd have to agree with that, because the way I learned by doing. I'm more of like I've always been a labourer most of my life, so I've always been a hands-on, learnt by hands-on stuff. But going from, how do I explain it? Reading stuff in a book and then sort of trying to implement it into a project, probably it's a good way to learn as well, but not really if you're a hands-on type of person, you know. Yeah, but if you do a list of passwords and you've constantly got to update your code, if you I don't know, databases are probably the best way to go around them. Like you do with websites, how you got a database on your website and you check the password against the database. Tactile learning, me too. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah, hands-on stuff. Because if I try and do shit without just reading it through a textbook, hour, 2 hours later, and pip, it's gone. You know. But if I do it in a project, I'm like, all right, excellent, I've done that. Then wipe it and do it again. You know, it's stuff like that. Like GTK applications through Python, I've written over and over and over, time and time and time again. The startups of like just the basic GUI of an application, just an empty GUI of an application. I've written that code out that many times. It's just hardwired in my brain now, and it's good. I've written it so many different times. So that's pretty much it. So I've got to add that in there. Add that in there. Go back to my assignment. Where am I? I'll upload assignment 2. Delete it, and we go from here. Browse. Number 2, upload this file, save changes, submit. Hopefully it's passable because this is my second attempt. And how many attempts? Oh, I get 6 at number 2, so that's good. Number 1, I've only got 4 attempts. Muscle memory. There's still a lot of shit that I don't know. If I was to see, if I was to do it with someone like I was a bit nervous, like with the say for instance with the Arco Linux tweak tool, right? When we were getting, I was going to have to work with this other guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I can't remember his name. But yeah, I was supposed to work with him, but like we were going to be working together, and I was actually pretty excited but nervous at the same time because everyone's got their different coding style. So I was thinking, oh, you know, hopefully he doesn't think I'm too much of an amateur and that, because I've taught myself how to do all this, and I haven't actually learnt from someone else. So I thought, oh, you know, what's going to happen here? You know, is he going to look at it and think, oh, far out, this guy doesn't know what he's doing, or something like that, you know? But as it turned out, I write my GUIs by hand. I feel you got more control over it if you use an actual GUI application to make the application. So I really don't like that idea. using a builder, a GUI builder, to make the application. Yeah, this sort of gets a bit, I don't know. I like to be able to write it out and say, this is where I want this widget, this is how I want this widget placed, this is how I want this layout laid out. If I want to use a grid, if I want to use boxes or list boxes and stuff like that to lay out my GUIs and that. So, but everyone learns differently. See, he probably learned Python by using the GUI, using Glade, I think it's called, and going from there. See, I don't know how to use Glade, so we had this big conflict. Well, with the command line, yeah, my instructor gives me. Give it a go. Yeah, give it a go. If your instructor gives you hard stuff to do, yeah, give it a go. You might surprise yourself, man. You might give a, I don't know, think about it for long enough, and you might surprise yourself. You don't know. So it wasn't until I did the Arca Linux tweak tool I didn't think I knew enough of what I knew, sort of thing. I don't know. It's like I never challenged myself, so to speak, and then with the tweak tool, it sort of really woke me, if you know what I mean. But versus a command line to an editor, yeah, well, I just use a text editor instead of an IDE. Well, code's sort of like an IDE, but you've got to add the plugins, extensions and stuff within it to do it. Like, say, for instance, this one here, what am I using? PyCharmed at the moment for my course. It's good, but I like Code because Code has the Git plugins. Challenging stuff is yeah, give it a go, man. Far out. That's got to challenge yourself. Otherwise, you'll never know what you can and can't do, sort of thing. 5-10 minutes thinking about it, you might come up with something really cool, and you'll be like, "Oh fuck, I know how to do this. This is awesome." Give me something else. Yeah, you never know. Let's have a look. Was there a password checker 3? Oh, right. Yeah, I've used Vim before. It's good to learn with. If you don't know Vim, then you've got to learn Vim while you're learning Python, and it gets really confusing. But yeah, after I knew Vim for a while, I use Vim a lot to edit my system files and stuff on Linux, but I don't use it for programming. Now, I use Visual Studio Code for making my applications. Yeah, because you've got the with Visual Studio Code. I think I've got it installed on here. Yeah. Right. So this is Visual Studio Code. Now, if you come down here, you've got this Git interface, right? This is what I love about it most. Let's open up a. Let's go to my repos, my Python applications, and let's just say my skill app, for instance, right? So say I'm working on my skill app. These are all the alright, so function, help, and GUI are my actual files that I'm importing into the main one, right? And then you've got expand users to get the home directory of the user. I use that for opening up file chooser dialogues and stuff like that. Now, if we go down here, say we make a change, right? So home, too many blank lines, and we just remove the blank lines. We sit here, no QA. All right, so no QA is just a actually import sleep can go above that. So here we're importing re to use the what do you call it, the regex. So no QA is just for linting, for the linting, yeah, telling the linter not to read this line. Alright, so now we've made some changes. We can go here, set up, what have we changed? Nothing. So this is what I love about code, right? It's the Git interface for it. So I can sit here and click this and type in a message, and I'll just say updated. Make sure you use username. Alright, so first I've got to I'm on Windows. Oh, so this is going to get difficult. So I've got to set the username and the email. Alright. Learn more. So how do you do it on Windows if you can't use the command line? So I've got a script that does it all for me. Alright. Didn't want to have to do it this way. Alright. Now git commit, you bastard. Alright, so that's done. Then all I do is go down here after it's done committing the changes and click it. And it'll push it straight to my buddy GitHub. Awesome. Phone and computer at the same time. What's that? I need to set up my Git interface as well. Yeah. I didn't know how to do it on Windows, because normally all I do is run the. Let's go to the directory, shall we? Repos, Python apps, skill app. Alright, so I've got the shell script set up Git. All that does is runs through all the Git stuff for me, sets the editor, the caching time and all that kind of stuff. Got it from Eric. So he wrote it all out. I just changed my name and shit into it to set up my Git stuff. Same with the Git itself. Oh dear, hiccups. Same with the Git itself. So it'll pull first to make sure that all the changes are done, and then it will add everything. Then it will take the input for the git commit. So you write down what you update or whatever you want, and then yeah, then it'll push. Normally, usually when I do it, I just write git push itself, but here it specifies update origin, so I didn't change that. Left that how it was. But I wonder Python GTK. I wonder. Wonder what happens if I try and run a GTK application. Nothing. Ugh. Not even an error. Bugger. Bloody Windows. Yeah, so that's it. Let's exit out of that. I'm done there. Done there. What's assignment 3? Assignment part 3. Here we go. So password's password. So a program is required to input and validate password to ensure it contains the minimum number of characters of 6 and maximum number of characters of 10. Rightio. For every unsuccessful attempt, the program will record an entry in a password log file that will include the date and time, updated to the nearest microsecond, and the reason why the password is invalid. Either password less than 6, password greater than 10. The file will not store any passwords. This looks interesting. Budgie's a good desktop. I actually liked Budgie. I was using it on the Solus installation though, but Solus was very limited for what I wanted to do, unfortunately. So what specifications are they asking here? Right, alright. Oh, this is going to be a good one, guys. Now we can get creative. Actually, what I might do... Alright, so that's the date time log that we're going to be using. Interesting. Interesting. Alright, so let's have a look at the specifications again. So password log files are constant, so that's all uppercase letters. So we'll add that at the top here. Alright. Now some of the variables, current date and time. Alright, so while in the loop, we have to add the current date and time into a variable. And the reason the password failed. So I might have to change a few things to make this work because the current setup that we've got. Alright, so if we add an else here, just add a pass for now. See, this won't determine unless we do this check again singly if it's this or if it's that. That's what we'll do. Alright, so in here at the very top, current date and time equals this date time. Alright. Current date and time equals this date time. Yada yada yada. And we come through here. What's the password reason they ask me to do? Reason password invalid. So then we'll set that in here. Equals password less than 6, greater than 10. So we'll say if so I'm doing else because instead of else if. Yeah, date time library now we're using, yeah. If you're just learning about the window managers, right, I'd be going for something like i3 or BSP window manager because they've got easier they got easy configs to deal with. i3 config, on the other hand, it can get very, very messy and very, very hard to scroll through. Whereas BSP window managers got a it's a lot neater. Key bindings are in a separate file and everything else. You got an auto start file as well to auto start all your stuff. So actually, I'd go with BSP window manager, to be honest. It's good. What did I call the file? Password log file. So what the log file is supposed to look like that. Alright, let's test it. Alright, so we should be in our course, programming, password checker, password log. Alright, so that seems to be working. That was less than 6. So that works. Now we have to check if it logs it if it's too much. So I should have 2 extra logs in there. Ah, whoops. Whoops, 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 whoops. Well, let's delete that file. That was a disaster. Disaster that was. Forgot the actual bloody whatchamacallit. Password 123, that should log it. Password 123, that should log it. Password 12 should be strong. Excellent. Let's have a look now. Alright, line by line, that's perfect. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. Alright, so that's working. Now, the commenting side of things. Alright. Now, what are we going to say? This one. Check if must be more than max cost. So I'm just putting the log down here. Oh, how you going, drunken alcoholic? I love that name. I started off with assignment part 2, and now I'm moving on to assignment part 3 for Python. It's in a IT course, Information Technology and Digital Media, that I'm doing for Cert 3. Cert 3 or Cert 4, I can't remember which one I'm doing. I've got both modules, so it's more like a test of what's going on. At the moment, I'm just finishing off part 3. I think I'm pretty much set. I've got to do all the commenting throughout the code line by line on everything I'm doing to show, hey, you know, I wrote this. This is mine. I didn't plagiarize it from anywhere else. Blah blah blah. So yeah, just doing that. So I'm just saying here, open a file with the append or create flag into a variable called f. Alright, so now we're going to write the reason password invalid string into the file. Alright, so hopefully that's alright. Now we have to do, got into the pseudocode. Yay! So this is password checker 3. Const password log file. Then we're in the while loop. Variable, current date and time, input, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. And we do all that, got all that. So if then So I have to comment everything and make everything with a pseudocode drunken cheater, if you're wondering what the hell I'm doing here. It's, yeah, time consuming. Yeah, well, I think that's pretty much it. Alright, check it. PW123 should loop. Yes. Password 123 should loop. Yes. Password 12 should be successful and a strong password. Okay. Now they should be logged in the file. Alright, less than 6, greater than 10. And no passwords will be logged. Okay, done. Alright, what else are they asking me? No. Not really. Like, you can put whatever you want into however you want with Python. But this is the way the pseudocode's supposed to be. Apparently, I've never done pseudocode or anything before, so I'm just sort of winging it right now because I still don't understand how it all works and that. This is all just commented. As you can see, I've got the three at the top here. I've got the three quotation marks to represent a comment block. So you got the hash that does a comment inline comment, and then you got the three quotation marks at the start and at the end, which will be a comment block. So everything inside this comment block is completely irrelevant and it's only for human viewing. It has nothing to do with the code at all. It's basically, apparently, according to my lecturer, when you work in teams, a lot of people apparently do this. They do pseudo blocks for if a new coder comes along, they can read the pseudo block and see what you've been doing, see how you've done it, and what steps that you're taking to do it all. So that's how that is. So, and I've got to put it in there, and he wants me to comment every line to show that I understand what the code's doing and that I'm not plagiarizing. Oops, I just knocked my microphone. Sorry for that. So I think I've got everything, and I've just got to keep going over this to make sure I've got everything right. Place all code under a main. Oh, here we go. Under a main function. All variables and constants need to be defined under this function, and no variable or constants are to be used outside of main. Okay. So this has got to be in a main function. So the keyword here was function. And no variables are to be passed outside of the main function. Right. So, def main. Alright, so now they're all inside a main function. Now I've got to do this. Okay, I think that's all I needed to do. C++ is an excellent language. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I have dabbled in it quite often, like taking people's game hacks that they've built and put the source online and playing around with the game hacks, making different changes and that kind of stuff. It's yeah, not bad. See here, the linter in this application right now is telling me that variables in functions should be lowercase. Variables. Let's have a look at this place. All variables and constants, okay, need to be defined under the function. To be outside of main, okay. Include a comment at the top of your code, your name, date, and that. Within your code, include a comment to explain what data is written to the password log file. Add another comment to explain how the data is output from the file to screen. Oh fuck, now I'm nowhere near done. Oops, sorry about my language. Now, once the password is valid, read the contents of the password log file and output to the screen. Alright. The password's strong right here. So with open, what did I call that damn file again? Password log file. with open password log file, read so we're going to use read lines, alright? Because read lines will read them into a list. Yeah, Python's a hell of a lot easier. See, Delphi and Pascal, I have no idea about them. To be honest, I've never really heard of them. It's only lately. It's only the past year I've heard about them more than anything. But before that, I never really heard of them. Like, I know there's a lot of people that a lot of people were always on about Pascal. And Python, it's what's the word? It's not literal, if you know what I mean. C and C++, you got to declare the variable on its class. So int32 to declare an integer, and string to declare a string, or list to declare a list. You know, it's got to be list this or int that or string this. Whereas with Python, I can sit there and say, all right, number equals 0. Then later on down the track, I can actually say number equals in a string or a list or whatever, and that variable now changes into a string. That's the word, not static. Ah, oh, thank God. Yeah, couldn't work out what I was saying, but yeah, excellent. Why is this highlighted yellow? What's going on? Code is unreachable. Right. So we won't break there on else. We'll break down here. And then we will say then we'll say so if do I need to So I haven't looked at Haskell either. The only ones I've really looked at was when I was dabbling in web development was React, JavaScript, CSS, and HTML, and then I got bored of that, so I went on to computer programming. I was doing Visual Basic .NET when I was playing around with Windows before I moved to Linux, and once I got to Linux, I did Python and Perl. Perl's really good. I like Perl. Python's better though. I think that's my opinion. So I'm doing a file check here. See if I go down here. Yeah, front end coding for web development. Yeah, good fun. I liked it. I wanted to get into React Native. I did a little bit of back end with the websites that I was making as well for mainly for the mailing side of things. So like people fill out a form, they click the bloody send button, and it sends an email here and there. I tried getting into that a little bit. That was a bit confusing on how all that worked. Yeah, I was using SMT. I even used the I had a Ubuntu server. I actually used the inbuilt mailer. I think send mail or something. I think it was called, if I remember. That was a bit more simple, but then again, you had to set it up behind the scenes anyway. Yeah, I'll do that, Drunken, if you want. Oh, I made a couple of budgie applets. They didn't work real well, but still. Oh, that's really cool, man. Yeah, so you can use the budgie applet on your computer to do with your aircon in your fish room. Oh, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, I like budgie. I haven't tried it on something other than I haven't tried it on something other than Solus yet. So oh wow, Telegram's going off his head at the moment. Ah, Mez, the Uncle Mez. Yeah, so I haven't tried it on something other than Solus yet, but it's not bad. It's a good desktop. I like it. I love the Raven bar on the side, and I think that's pretty excellent. Okay, so I've got to do it differently. Alright, so that's working. Now I've kept to what they've asked me for. Okay, file and screen. Yeah, OpenBox is nice. I used it before when I was using Crunchbang, the Debian-based old school. I think it's called Bunsen Labs now, but used to be called Crunchbang. Yeah, that's when I was using it. Herbsloft is my favourite, mainly for my use though. Mmm. Oh, I've got to change that. Password checker 3. Read password log file. I haven't actually looked at the code output of them actually, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're based on. It'd be good if they are. I'll be able to mess around with them. You'll be able to as well. Put your own little spin on stuff. Yeah, I think BSP Window Manager might be C based. You're rookie in code, eh? Don't be too down on yourself. You might know more than you're letting on. That's pretty cool to write a tiling window manager in Python. That's pretty talented. Yeah, no, I get you. Alright, now let's delete the log file. Well, I'm pretty much done, guys. I'm going to take a break for a while. How long have I been doing this for? Almost 2 hours. Ugh. Too much time on something so simple as this. I didn't think it'd take. I thought I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll just breeze through this. You know, I've done this so many times, blah blah blah. But nah, never happens. But I'm pretty sure I've got everything I needed for it. I'm not sure whether. Uh, that's how you start. That's how I started. Altering other people's codes and stuff like that. Yeah, that's how you start off, man. Play around with other people's codes and stuff, and yeah, makes life a lot easier, and it's easier to bloody work it too. Yeah, yeah, good 2 hours is great. Yeah, I didn't think it'd be that long, but still. But I'm a bit concerned about here. It says here file and screen, the current date and time, and reason for password invalid. So I don't see anywhere where it's telling me to. I guess from when it prints from the file, I guess, or yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's alright. But anyway, so I'm going to call it a day, guys. Thanks heaps for joining me. That's pretty cool. Yeah, you'll see where I based my conky off of. This one here. Bloody excellent. Alright, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one that I do, I guess.